Heya! Carter Chase here, pronouns he, him. Let's get to the video. Okay, at the end of the video, I have an explanation as to why I have been so absent, I guess. I hope you guys will understand because I'm really kicking myself in the butt and face for being absent for so long. What is it, like a month now? I'm sorry. I really am. I didn't want to be absent this long. I just have been up on nerves because of this thing I'm going to announce. But anyway, I've gone through some basics, but I'm going to go through the process of getting a book written, edited, and finished. Okay. Oh boy, this is going to be a long video. First step. Outlining. This is a potential first step. Some people like to pants it. But everyone needs to come up with an idea first. Now, some ideas are easy to come up with, others are harder. I'm more of a pantser myself, if you guys know what that means. Means that I don't really outline everything out, I mostly just make it up as I go along. And there's good things about both methods. I find that pantsing helps my story flow better, because it's a natural progression of what I see can happen, instead of things seeming like it's like I plan it, like there's just like scene. Connector stuff is varied. Like there's just a scene, and a scene, and not enough connecting. Because that's what would happen if I outlined everything. But for some people, what would happen is step, cliff, without an outline, so it works for some people. The second step, this is what's going to seem like the hard part, but it's actually the easy part. And you guys are going to hate it and love it and spend months working on it, and you are going to love it to the point where you will want to marry it. But you'll hate it so much you want to get a divorce. It's a mix of emotions. You feel highs and lows and joys and sadness and anger, hate, love, joy. All of that just mixed up in a ball in this step, and it's crammed into your head. I don't know if that really gets my point across, but it's writing the first draft. It seems so hard. And then once you finish your first book and you actually edit, this is the easy step. You have no idea what you are in for when it comes to editing. But anyway, let's focus on the first draft. So, this is where you just write, for just until you can get like 20,000 to 100,000 words down, depending on how long you want your book. Let me be clear, I've done 10,000 words in a week. Don't think that's realistic. I can work 20-hour days, no problem. I can work 20-hour days, 3 days a week, and then 8 hours the rest of the week. This is not realistic for anyone else. But you can probably, a decent writer can probably do 10,000 words in a month. Maybe 20. And if you push it, 30. Now, I usually do between 20,000 and 40,000 words in a month. But I'm a crazy, hardcore writer. I don't expect everyone to live up to my standards. But after you get your first draft done, that's when editing comes into play. This is when you first have to go through, make sure your plot is in check and there aren't any plot holes. Then you have to go through, make sure that every chapter is necessary, and see if you have to add chapters. Then you have to go through, make sure your paragraphs are all in order. And yes, you have to go paragraph by paragraph. Then sentences. And yes, sentence by sentence. Then you have to cut weasel words. I'll make a video on weasel words in the future, but this is not it. Then you have to do grammar. Have I mentioned I hate grammar? And spelling. Spelling is not that hard. I really don't find it that hard. I can usually get through it in one draft and be done with it. And after all that, you have to read it through all over again to make sure everything is in check. Have you got all that? Good, because that should take twice as long as your writing process, however long that took you. Or longer. I am not joking. Dead serious. Okay, and if you are self-published, then you need to go to a professional editor. I'm using Family. But that's only because I have family, which is within the editing business. Don't just call your dad and say, edit my book! That won't end well. Unless you're doing a peer edit and he's also a writer. But yeah, but an in-between step which you might want to do is a peer edit. This, you probably should do it, but if you're just, but you can skip it, I guess? No, not as, you're not gonna like it as much. Okay, after the peer edit and the professional edit, which the professional edit cost 1 to 3 to 5 cents a word, depending on how strong an editor you get. Let me be clear. 20,000 to 100,000 words should be your book. 3 cents times 20,000. Let's see. 3 cents times 20,000, so that comes out to be around $600. Let's not even go into 100,000. Anyway, after that was depressing. Anyway, after that, you go into formatting. This is relatively painless, but you do also need to pay someone for this, and I haven't yet looked at the prices, considering that I'm also getting this through Family, and I'm not going to be charged the same price, so look it up on your own. Probably different for different people. This can take a long time as well. Next, you have to find a distributor. Basically, someone to print your book and give it to the people that you are selling it to. This isn't the same as going to a publishing company. You are still going to be paying for your copies. No, Cody. You stay on my lap now. This is Cody. Anyway, after the professional edit and formatting, you go to a distributor. Basically someone who you pay and get your books copied and made and all that. And during this process, you should be designing a cover and writing a book synopsis, marketing your book, part of why I joined YouTube, writing an author's synopsis, which is writing an author's bio, deciding on the pricing for your book, and deciding how you're going to distribute it. There's so much to do. You are going to go crazy. Everyone will go crazy that isn't already crazy. Anyway, that's your process for publishing a book. And I am severely depressed now. But I have an announcement to make, so snap out of it! I entered into a literary magazine from the UK called All the Sins. They have copies online, so if I do get in, you'll get a link. But I am very stressed out since I haven't gotten anything on it, and I've been waiting 2 weeks past the closing date, and I don't know how much more I can take. But I know these things typically take time. And I really want this. Like, I've wanted to be in a literary magazine. Specifically wanted to be in a literary magazine, not just have my work published, since middle school. And this is a big deal for me. This is what inspired me to write since middle school, was a literary magazine in my school library that was a writing contest that was held once a year, and people would enter, and people would get published and put in libraries. School libraries, but still. This is a big deal for me. This is what inspired me as a middle schooler to write. Don't get me wrong, I've loved writing my entire life. But I've always had inspiration throughout the way. When I was a kid, the idea of just stringing words together was inspiring. Inspiring to the point where I would spend hours writing stories with my parents. When I got to middle school, I read some great books. I read and read and read. I read till I overcame my dyslexia, and those books that I read, they just pushed me to read and to write and to read and to write. And then in sixth grade, I came across this literary magazine, and that's what inspired me to want to be published. And then in high school, I was so bored with ordinary classes. I've memorized the material, but I was too bored to really put in any effort. But when I could go online and post stories about these wondrous things that I had in my head, that was inspiring to me. And now, the idea that someone out there could read my story and be inspired to write, that's what inspires me. But I want to accomplish this thing that inspired me in middle school. I'm sorry if this is coming off raw and emotional, but yeah, I'm feeling raw and emotional. This is something that's important to me. I've been wanting this for a long time. Now it might happen or it might not. And I put myself out there and it feels like I'm just waiting to see if I'm gonna get slapped in the face or handed a rose. Well, this has been my video. Sorry if I depressed you guys. But I guess you did learn a bit about me. See you later. This has been Carter Chase's Corner.